Hey, big babies, it's me. I'm fresh in the Netherlands, filming for the very first time in Europe, and I'm actually doing a different video on tiny homes, which you should check out on my channel, SideQuest Suvi. But this is not that. This is a deep dive that I couldn't wait to do. In fact, I was sitting here in my room thinking I need to do this show. Do you guys know P. Diddy? Otherwise known as Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Love, and every other name under the book. The man who has bought more baby oil than there are babies in whatever city he's from. He's the guy accused of everything, doing it to everyone at every time. He's everything everywhere all at once if it was a movie about someone who is a heinous person. That's Diddy. The diddler, otherwise known as Diddy, created a show. And I genuinely forgot about it. It was only when I started seeing the cases that people have been dropping against him that I realized, I should probably do a deep dive on this. So today we're doing a deep dive on a show called Making the Band. In the early 2000s, P. Diddy was at the height of his fame, for reasons unknown to man. He's not a good rapper. I don't know if he's a producer. He's not really a mixer. He just seems to be there. I'm pretty sure he also shot Tupac, so I don't know if I like him. But he was really famous. He had made that song that copied that other song from Sting, which he actually pays money to Sting every day. You can look that up, that's a fact. And he was finally a big household name. So he thought he would capitalize on this fame by creating a show called Making the Band. It's basically a ripoff of Making the Band, which is done by another dude who's a con artist. So MTV was just employing them at that point. But anyway, he made the show and his goal was to create 5 rappers and 1 singer and put them in a whole band and sign him to their label Bad Boy Records. Which, by the way, a clue, bad boy. He's a bad boy, right? I'm just saying. They started this and Making the Band 2 has 3 seasons. I know that's a bit hard to understand, but it's called Making the Band 2. And there's season 1 of Making the Band 2, then season 2, then season 3. In season 1, P. Diddy is like Simon Cowell. He just chooses different people, and that's all that happens in the whole season. So we'll skip that. I want to take you to season 2, and we're going to go through the whole thing, from the inception of the band to the time they actually create their first album. I think it's important to note that P. Diddy is a crazy person, and I think that it's good to have a counter at the bottom of the screen every time P. Diddy says some questionable shit, because even as far back as the MTV days, 2002, P. Diddy was still saying some crazy stuff. So without further ado, this is a deep dive on the show Making Da Band Season 2. Let's take a look. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, don't be a diddler. Just do it. Thank you. Also, follow me on my Instagram, sixteenleo, because I post really cool stuff there. Did you do it? Alright, let me tell you about a little secret. I've been on a mission to smell fancy lately, because if I can't get my life together, I can at least smell like I've got my life together. That's where Scentbird comes in. Picture this. You want to try a fancy fragrance, but spending $300 on a full bottle? Nah, fam. That's rent in a country that I don't know exists, because who pays that much? So Scentbird hooks you up with designer scents every month for a fraction of the price. Like $8 for the first one. Yeah, 8. And trust me, it's a vibe. I'm currently using Open Road by Drift and Vanilla Haze by Fugazi. Chef's kiss. What I love about Scentbird is the flexibility. One month I'm smelling like a citrus grove. The next I'm attending a royal wedding. And they've got everything. Versace, Prada, and even niche labels you probably never heard of, but definitely want to flex. Plus, the vials are travel size, so you can literally stash them in your pocket or bag like a ninja. No judgment if you need a spritz midday. So if you want to upgrade your scent game, click the link. Use my code 16leo55 for 55% off your first month. You can get to try your first fragrance for only $8 and the next month for just $16.95. Don't say I never hooked you up. Okay.
Since y'all seen me last, a lot has changed.
Oh, sorry. I want to say episode 1 is in poor quality because the diddler probably tried to remove that out of YouTube. From episode 2 onwards, it gets slightly better. But keep in mind, this is a show from the early 2000s. Prehistoric. So this is P. Diddy, already looking like he's in the thug life era. Not really sure why he's looking so hard. He's looking like he's about to rob something. But this is episode 1. And you'll notice in the series, P. Diddy actually asserts his dominance of power, oftentimes has rants about absolutely nothing, just puts the group through some really demonstrative things. Stuff that like you wouldn't really put a group of people to if you wanted them to work for you. The environment seems a bit tough, and at times these people who just want to be signed and make music question whether they really even want to do it anymore. That's what P. Diddy does to people. That's crazy.
You have to try to get your album done, or at least a single, within the next 6 weeks.
So this is the whole crux of the show. P. Diddy has 6 people that he is trying to put into a band, and instead of a year and a half to make an album, they have 6 weeks. Why? Because Diddy needs time to party. I don't actually know why he gave them a deadline of 6 weeks. I'm really not sure. They never explain that. There's no prize money to this. You get signed by Diddy, which is actually like, seems like a consequence rather than a gift. I just want to say, having a band with 6 people, 5 of them are rappers and 1 of them's a singer, that's too much. That's too many people. If you have a band like the Eagles and stuff, it's not like they all each have a verse. Rappers can't rap in harmony. This is a really bad idea, Diddy. So the characters, by the way, there's one called Ness. He's like the most normal rapper. There's one called Dylon, who's like a reggae rapper. There's one called Babs. She's like a girl Brooklyn rapper. There's one called Sarah. She's the singer. There's one called Fred. He sucks his thumb and he sounds like a crackhead. And there's one called Chopper. He's the youngest one. That's all I know about him. And that's the band. Do they sound like a group of people that you would listen to? A reggae person, some rappers, and 1 R&B singer. Does that sound like a group to you? That sounds like a fucking sitcom to me. All right, so it's episode 1. Diddy gets everyone into the house. He's like, look, you can stay in this great house. Psych. You're going to stay at a hotel where there's only 2 beds for everyone. So this is test number 1, surviving Diddy. So yeah, they stay at a Best Western, all of them in some motels. And that's test 1. Can you survive these shitty conditions? It's not too bad, but P. Diddy wants to see if these guys are really, really going to actually do what he says. So then, on day 1 of initiation, after sleeping on those beds, P. Diddy says, do you know what I really want? I want a fucking cheesecake. And then he tells them to walk down to Brooklyn and get him a piece of cheesecake. It's like midnight. So this might just seem like a funny thing. And it is kind of funny because Dave Chappelle actually parodied this Chappelle show where he made a skit called Making the Band, and he actually got the actual people from Making the Band to parody P. Diddy. And this was one of the weird requests P. Diddy had. Get me a piece of cheesecake. And it's his way of breaking people down. P. Diddy is gonna go and say that like this is just what everyone has to do. You have to do some stuff you don't like. But what that really means is I'm going to make sure that you don't have any ego or any power in the situation. You do exactly what I say no matter how embarrassing or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you. That word for it.
But I do want some cheesecake.
It actually is exactly what you said. It's mean-spirited and like really breaking their spirit, trying to do something like, hey, I know you want to be a rapper, but to be a rapper, you have to give me cheesecake at 1 a.m. because that's all I see you as. Yeah, I know you got talent, but how about the talent be getting me cheesecake at 1 a.m? That's crazy. So now you got a group of rappers trying to get a cheesecake because Diddy's hungry.
I bite my tongue, I gotta do it with a smile on my face. But I do want some cheesecake.
Is that like code for something? Diddy wants cheesecake. It just seems like a bad start to a relationship, you know? I'm signed to my new boss. I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna make him tons of money because I'm really good at rapping and singing, but I gotta get him a cheesecake. That feels like a breach of power already. And this is episode 1.
You just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
Everyone is really pissed off because they're rappers. They have some egos. They have some pride about themselves. Nothing wrong with saying, look, I don't want to do something that's going to make me feel like I'm not really being valued. That's completely fine. But Diddy comes out, he surprises them in the hallway, and he's like, look, if you guys don't want to get this cheesecake, you're off the label. It's that easy. If you don't get me cheesecake, you can't work for me. And they're left in this really tough position because all of them want to be rappers and they come from nothing. So it's either get this man the cheesecake they don't want to, or continue their lives and not become musicians. Diddy's in a fortunate position, a position of power, and he's now using that power to make people do what they don't want to. This is in 2002. And I know it's about cheesecake, but that's a metaphor for ass.
We just want to tip like you just trying to put us out there like a bitch or something, like make us walk all the way to Brooklyn, like, you know what I'm saying?
So Ness, one of the rappers, says, look, it's making us feel like bitches. Getting you cheesecake, we feel like you're bitches. Because look, I'll tell you, man to woman, anything in between, you don't want to feel like less than a person, right? You want to feel like, okay, I respect you, you respect me. Whether you're a boss or an associate or any level, you don't want to feel like someone feels they're so much better than you because they're in a different position. Because I feel like you'd work better if everyone has that synergy. He even says to Ness, I don't care about your feelings, give me the cheesecake.
Be fly, dog. Get your swag on, walk that way.
Diddy then gets really angry about cheesecake and says, you can walk that way, or you can walk this way and get me a cheesecake. And then they're left in a position where they're like, all right, we have to get cheesecake or we're not going to get the keys to the studio to record our songs. That's the chain of commands. If you want to be a really good singer, you have to get a really good cheesecake for Diddy. Not a metaphor. So reluctantly, the band walk over to downtown Brooklyn and acquire the cheesecake. Now, I can't play all of the songs because Diddy uses lots and lots of songs that would be copyrighted, but you'll get the gist. At 4:12 a.m., they acquired the cheesecake, and apparently, according to a tweet by one of the Making the Band members, Diddy did not even eat the damn thing. Imagine going all that way, getting someone a cheesecake, and they fart on it. That's pretty much what Diddy did. Diddy did it. Damn. We move on to episode 2, and it starts off with a fight. Lots of the band members start fighting with each other because unlike other situations, none of these people knew each other before, and unlike Simon Cowell or anyone else who's trying to run talent, they don't really seem to care if the band is actually good with each other or not. They're just people, and they're like, we're putting you in this situation, make us a hit. And so some of them butt heads. In episode 2, 2 of them butt heads.
Wait till it's choked down. Wait till what? Wait till what? Wait till what? What? All you gotta do is touch me, dog. Just touch me, dog.
Sounds like something Diddy would say. All you gotta do is touch me, dog. That's Fred, and he is talking to Chapo, and they're fighting over something that I don't know about. Lots of these fights don't make any sense to me. What does make sense to me is Diddy just popping out of nowhere because he seems to do that. It's one of the funniest things in the show. He just pulls up at any convenient time and catches the band with their hands like caught in the cookie jar doing something really that he doesn't want them to do. Fighting being one of those things. And whenever he sees them acting up, he punishes them. This is really like one of these shows when you're looking back, you're like, wow, how did they make this?
Y'all can't even listen to direction. Y'all can't even do y'all don't want to do.
Can we have a Diddy counter for that? That's 2. I forgot about the cheesecake, but y'all can't even do shit that y'all don't want to do. That's a Diddy thing. Imagine telling people, yeah, you got to do some stuff you don't want to do. You got to do things to me that you don't want to do to me. That's 2 for Diddy.
Work as many hours. No, you're going to have to do a bunch of you don't want to do.
Diddy thing, 3. You're going to have to do a bunch of shit you don't want to do. That's a power move right there. That's something that an exec says when someone needs the job, when they're trying to progress their career. It's really disgusting, right? And the fact that he's just saying it so openly. I know in the real world, people do stuff that they don't want to do, like go to work, but you can still quit that. If you really don't like your boss, you can say F you and leave. Sometimes it's not an option when you have nowhere to go. And these people look like they don't have anywhere to go, and Diddy is just like, you gotta do stuff you don't want to do, dog. Get in the room, get the baby oil.
I'm not threatening y'all. I'm just not going to tolerate it. I just don't want it in my life.
In fact, Diddy's not just threatening them. He's creating another crazy thing that he does. So, again, let me remind you, this is a show about rappers trying to create an album in 6 weeks. Diddy gave them 6 weeks because he said, fuck it, I just want drama in my life. He then wakes them up at 7:15 a.m. after getting them cheesecake a few days before to give them another task. They're gonna wash cars all day for free because when you really want to rap, you gotta wash a car first. This is like Mr. Miyagi, who's doing all sorts of crazy shit, and at the end, he's like, you already had the skills all along. Don't use the lyrics. Wash the car in the booth. See what happens.
I'm gonna make them wash some cars for free all day. Maybe they'll appreciate hip-hop then.
What is the thread line between that? Maybe they'll appreciate hip-hop then if they wash cars all day. What is really the thread line? Like, I don't understand. I'm really trying to understand where he got those two things to correlate. Stop. Diddy. So, reluctantly, the band washes cars all day, and Diddy pulls up in one of his Escalades to watch them wash the cars. Again, an assertion of dominance, using his power to control people who want something other than this. Did Diddy not have a car wash that day? Is that what's happening? He likes seeing people in wet t-shirts, men and womans.
No more eating. There's too much lavish going on. What if they on the road and ain't no food? There's too much eating, man.
For whatever reason, Diddy says no more eating, which is like the craziest shit I've ever heard. I don't even understand where that came from. I watched the clip. They were having fun, and then he's like, you guys are having too much fun. You can't eat food anymore. Just starve. And then he gets back in his car, and one of the band members, Choppa, laughs, and he takes out a fucking speakerphone and is like, you gonna see, I got something for you. I got something for you. And then he drives away menacingly. Is he fucking him? What is happening? Why does he have a speakerphone in his Escalade? Well, what do you can't harass women at a normal volume? You gotta amplify that shit? Can you just do it like in a discreet manner? Bro, please, what are you doing with that speakerphone embedded in your car? Dude, come on. Come on. This dude probably has a sex swing in his fucking coffin. Jesus Christ. The next day, the band is contemplating why the hell they're even part of this show. And Babs explains in great detail and very emotionally, I might add, that they don't have songs or a deal. They can't really go anywhere else. Diddy's giving them a chance that they can't turn down. He's sort of like the Godfather, an offer they can't refuse, because if they go back, they live lives that they don't particularly want to. A lot of these people that go on these shows don't have much.
I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke.
And it's not easy to say, oh, just get a job. Some people come from circumstances that are just way different than the average person. So I understand why this is an opportunity they can't afford to pass up. But at the same time, all they've done so far is get cheesecake and yelled at, and also clean cars.
Next time, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and I'm gonna do what the I'm told to do.
At this point, Fred, this is actually like shows the psychological damage that's going on. Fred says that he's gonna do whatever it takes to get this money. He wants this deal so bad. Then he says some crazy shit that Diddy probably put in his head.
Because I'm hungry, and whatever the we told to do, we gonna do. That tell me to walk butt boogie naked. I'm walking butt boogie naked in the middle of Times Square for them cameras.
He says, if P. Diddy says, walk butt naked in the middle of Times Square, I'm gonna do it. And I can only imagine P. Diddy actually said that shit because of everything he's done. So that's a way to break down someone. I mean, within 2 episodes, we saw a guy go from, I'm too proud to walk to Brooklyn to get a cheesecake, to I'll walk butt naked. I'll do anything you tell me to do because I need this. That's the P. Diddy effect. And if that doesn't show you how crazy this shit is, nothing will. This is a show that shouldn't at all have this in it, but it does. P. Diddy's not even playing around, man. He is the sky.
You know Rapper's Delight? You know it?
In episode 3, P. Diddy comes out for no reason and then asks if they know Rapper's Delight. For those of you who don't know, it is a fucking fantastic song. It's actually considered the first proper rap song. It's got like 12 people on it by the Sugar Hill Gang. Oh, so good. And they rap. P. Diddy is like, you need to recite this. I'm not really sure why reciting other rappers' lyrics makes you better at rapping, because you can't really cover rap songs, unlike singing. So he makes them recite this for some reason.
Hip hip hop and you don't stop. I'm talking to the bang bang boogie the up jump.
Clearly they don't actually know a song from 1975, so Diddy is like, can you recite Biggie Smalls' Juicy? And they don't fully know that either. Now Biggie Smalls, of course, was signed to P. Diddy before he passed away, and P. Diddy does not like when people mess with Biggie's lyrics.
You know, Rappers Delight, one of the first rap records to ever get played on radio by the Sugar Hill Gang. Y'all are just so disrespectful, man.
I like how he said it like he just learned about it. You guys don't know Sugar Hill Gang? The people who made the Apache song? You know, the one that Will Smith played in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? That's what I'm talking about.
Do not up my man's words. This is poetry. You don't want nobody chopping up your right? Matter of fact, take this downstairs, say it outside.
In Emasculation Act number 3, P. Diddy tells the group to go outside and start reciting Biggie Smalls' Juicy. I don't know if I've seen anything scarier than a group of people looking like rappers in a circle looking at themselves reciting a song that everybody fucking knows. That's crackhead energy. Because they're not even facing outwards, they're looking at each other. It's like a private rap battle where everyone's saying the same lyrics at the exact same time.
Never thought it could happen, this rapping stuff. I'm a singer. You know, I really don't rap. A broke man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch green, damn.
Sarah, the singer, is having problems because rapping is hard. She can't say words that have already been said for some reason. A day later, apparently, they're now all rapping in the streets, clapping like some unity band. Absolutely demonstrative, having people stand out in the street rapping Juicy until they all get it right. They're clapping like they're, you know, coming out of prison and standing for something. P. Diddy goes there and he's like, yo, you finally did it.
When I had to rate a black lumberjack with the hat to make hip hop and take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight.
That was good.
Does this not look like a group of buskers? And P. Diddy is just like, yeah, those are my cheesecake getting motherfuckers. Definitely not the scene that you want to see your group doing. Can you imagine American Idol and Simon's like, and now you have to stand outside and perform and busk until you make $1 million. Then you can actually have a record deal. Like, this is kind of crazy. P. Diddy then says a motivational speech, always recite Juicy by Biggie Smalls. That should help you in your life somehow. That's just how it works.
So welcome home, it's your crib. Let's check.
At this point, Diddy actually shows them to the proper house they'll be staying at. And it's like one of those MTV reveals where they do the slow motion. It's sort of like Cribs. Everyone's like, whoa. And you can tell most of these people have not really been in this financial bracket that like they're so happy and so like absolutely taken back by the house. The idea of money or wealth is really good to them because it's important for them to get out of situations that they've been in. P. Diddy also takes this time to say that they shouldn't touch his room. Even though he doesn't stay there, he actually has a room where they shouldn't touch. So even when they're having their own home, P. Diddy makes it his mission to still tell them there's things out of bounds. There's still a level beyond theirs that they can't touch. Very nuanced power move, P. Diddy.
You see this room? Right. Do not touch this room. This is my room.
He probably having freak-offs in that. There's probably soundproof and everything. You got freak-offs going on right in the house. He gets off to the fact that people are right there. And he's like, yeah, they can't hear me. They can't hear me, daddy. Lotion me up. Lotion my butt. The next episode, my favorite character in the series is introduced. And his name is Farnsworth Bentley. He's P. Diddy's personal butler. And he always dances in his music videos. I have very many questions for this man. How he became a butler. Why his name is Farnsworth. Why his last name is Bentley. Does he actually drive a Bentley? Why he always wears a bow tie? Why he dances but never raps? I don't know. Why did you choose the butler life? Why did the butler life choose you? So many questions, but he is now appointed to the band to make sure that they get their shit on track. And he's the funniest dude. I just find him so funny.
So I am definitely qualified to show you exactly what you need to do. We are a team now. We are a unit.
Farnsworth delivers a speech saying everyone is a team and a unit, then immediately gets in someone's face when Babs and Ness start fighting. And the way that he gets in people's face is so funny. He looks like a football player after being given a card, and then he's like arguing with someone. It's so funny.
Why do you even need that?
Yeah, the way he gets in people's faces is very funny. I didn't think that, Butler would do this, but this is a spicy Butler, clearly. So I like Farnsworth. They're having a fight over nothing, but Babs wants her hair done, and Farnsworth is like, yo, you need to get your hair done, and he pulls some money out of his bow tie like a fucking, magician / butler, a butler-magician. Babs then gets her hair done, and I like Farnsworth. I don't know where he is right now in the whole Diddy situation. I'm not sure if he's still affiliated with Diddy. I don't see him as a evil dude. Kind of hope he isn't, because he seems like a cool dude. I kind of forgot he existed, but in the 2000s he was in a lot of music videos, and he just seemed like a cool guy.
5 verses to the music that was given yesterday.
The next day, all of the band had homework. They all have verses to attend to, and none of them actually do their verses well. They all sound like shit, but let me play it for you.
Gangster, young chop.
Son, why does your paper look like a pirate map from the 1800s? What did you write that on? What the fuck am I looking at, bro? What? Why did he write it on torn paper and then spill coffee on it? I said, gangster. That's me speaking general European. None of them have good verses, and the dude who's the verse guy, I guess, he's like, hey, Farnsworth, you need to actually give them tasks to do because they're really immature. And Farnsworth then gives them the task of washing their bodies and cleaning their room. He's literally treating grown people like they're babies.
You have to clean your bodies first.
You gotta clean your bodies. You gotta wash the anus, because Diddy doesn't like getting that when he goes for the
cheesecake with his nose. He doesn't want to get a sniff of that brown towel.
Then you have to clean up your rooms.
Your rooms. God, what the hell did Farnsworth smoke? Who names their kid Farnsworth? That's a cool name for a kid. Farnsworth. If your name is Jeeves or Farnsworth, you're like automatically Butler. Babs doesn't want to wash her body or clean her room, so she wants to go and see her grandmother, and nobody's allowed to leave the house because this is a Diddy house, but she sneaks out and goes to see her grandmother anyway. This is while Farnsworth is sleeping, so he wakes up and calls Diddy, and Diddy, being the really good friend he is, says, you're taking too long to explain. I don't care. This is your fault. That's Diddy. What a great friendship to have.
I went to sleep. When I woke up, the whole house was clean, just like I asked for it to be. But I got a note right here.
Farnsworth explains this to Diddy like he's a kid, and he has to explain something he's guilty of. When I got up, everybody was clean. The house was clean, but I did like like you said, Diddy, but I got a note and she just has left me.
She broke out and went to Brooklyn.
It's taking you entirely too long to tell this story. This is your problem now. Good luck to you. When I get there, everything better be on point.
Diddy says exactly what he said there. It's taking too long for you to explain. I don't really care. When I get there, just make sure whatever you're yapping about is actually done. Like a good friend. And now Farnsworth has to figure out how to get Babs back. Meanwhile, Babs goes to the grandmother and a real moment happens where she starts crying and says she doesn't know if she wants to do this because it's too hard. Again, Diddy has broken down another member. First it was Fred, now it's Babs because she's questioning whether she wants to do the thing that she loved. Imagine just loving rapping, rhythm and poetry. You like rhyming to a beat.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot.
And Diddy makes it that hard for you to do that. Put that into perspective. It's crazy. Actually, imagine being so good at rhyming and poetry, so good that Diddy feels threatened enough to kill you. Tupac. I'm just saying. Meanwhile, Farnsworth Bentley is sitting down like he is in a dental chair, but it's not really a chair. It's just an anal probe. And he's wearing socks that are entirely too pink. He's also doing therapy. I thought he was supposed to be the person helping them, but now he's in the chair talking to Sarah about how he just wants to be helpful in society. It's the next day, and Diddy's coming down to see the band start doing their choreography. Because yes, just like Backstreet Boys, a group of rappers and one singer and a reggae artist need to do choreography. They need to be heartthrobs and do all the dance moves that the regular boy bands do. This is making the band. They need to start rapping with like choreography moves like, I don't care about you. I'll see you on the street. I'll kill your heartbeat. All right, at this point, Diddy comes in, he listens to them do the choreography and sing, and he's like, this is shit. And then he proceeds to have the most un-PC thing that I've ever heard. He has like an inspection and he inspects their bodies and looks, and he's like, this is all for music. He tells some of them that they need to lose weight, some of them that they need to go to a dermatologist because their face has too many things on it, and he asks a man to lift up his shirt so he could see his belly and probably suck on the belly button. I don't know.
You gain some weight.
Not really.
If you want to be bold enough to show it, make sure that that is right.
That's crazy. I mean, nowadays you can't say that. I mean, you shouldn't be able to say that anyway. I don't think anybody looking at something should say, guys are going to be looking at you. You need to be a certain weight. Let's say she's a great singer. Adele's a great singer. She looks good at any weight. And nobody has ever looked at Adele and been like, she's a great singer, but she's just terribly big, and so I don't like her. That's crazy. Nobody would think that. But P. Diddy's like, look, if you're part of Bad Boy Records, you need to have abs. You can't not.
Take the top off. You gain some weight?
Imagine telling a man to take his top off so you can see if he gained weight or not. Take that shirt off. Shit. You sexy. I mean, what? What'd you say?
Is that as big as you've ever been?
Oh, whoa, Diddy. Can we put one up for the Diddy? Is that as big as you've ever been, or can you get bigger? I was just asking. I'm gonna bend over. I'm gonna see how big you can get.
We definitely gotta fix some things. We gotta get you to a dermatologist.
Damn. His face is like his face, and he's like a fully grown man. That's not really gonna change. And he's like, oh, we gotta make your face less, it looks like a crater. Diddy also does this thing where he bites his lips often when he's talking to people, and it looks like he's trying to sexually look at I don't know, Diddy, it's a very weird thing to do. I don't think I could ever be serious if I'm talking to my friend and he's looking at me like, go on. Proceed. That's crazy. He also tells Babs, who has got new hair now, thanks to Farnsworth Bentley, that she needs new hair. And then she's like actually gives up on life at this point.
I'm at the point right now where I'm starting to be like nothing even really matters.
I don't know if you guys caught that at the bottom left, but it doesn't say Diddy's house. It says Daddy's house. Again, one of the weird things, and we can add that to the counter, it's not P. Diddy's house, it's Daddy's house. That's a weird thing, because most of these people are guys here, and they're also professional associates. Nobody should be calling someone daddy in a professional situation, unless it's on that profession, in which case, go ham. So now Diddy's using his emotional tactic of signing a record deal. He puts off all of his like drinks, and he gets special pens for people to sign it, and it's the glitz and glamour of the moment where you're like, wow, I'm gonna get all this money. Nobody's reading the fine print of the contract, and later on they reveal some part of the contract, and it is absolute dog shit. When I tell you it's crazy, it is crazy. But Diddy is happy for the moment, but he also says a little telling thing. See if you can notice it.
Make sure you want to do this. Make sure you have read the fine print, because once you're in, it ain't no way out, no.
See what I mean? Once you're in, it ain't no way out. And then he laughs, but he's serious. He's serious. They sign the contracts, presumably, then Diddy turns into a crazy alcoholic type person, starts screaming on a chair, wearing a suit that's way too big for him. And it's 2 days later, and now he's listening to the group making more songs. And the songs they're making are not really going that well. In fact, someone's in the booth and he's not feeling it. But then he does another thing that's a bit Diddy-ish.
Do it again, please, Pimp Juice.
What you think of that?
Calling another man Pump Juice is Diddy-esque. It's very Diddy of him. I don't really know what to say. Calling a man that and then leaning over and being like, please, Pump Juice? Can you do it for me, Pump Juice? It's kind of like crazy that Diddy does this stuff and it's all caught on camera.
Come on now. Damn, you me over now.
I think at this point Diddy calls someone the F word, and I'm not talking about fuck, and it even makes Fred like grimace. He's like, damn, what the hell? And then he winks at him. The next day, or maybe even the same day, the band starts fighting again. This time it's Ness and Fred, for reasons unknown to man. Diddy proceeds to hear about this and then lock up the studio so nobody can record their songs, because he does not like when people fight. Remember, he changed his name to Love and tried to love many people who didn't love him back.
This is gonna be the first of many meetings that you'll have with me here at the label, because we gotta be having a single in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so 4 weeks went by, and in that time they got Cheesecake, fought a lot. Diddy called them questionable things, and they washed cars. They didn't actually yet seem to have a single, but they have to finish a whole album in 2 weeks, and Diddy keeps locking up the studio. So they've got a problem on their hands.
And from what I heard, I'm not sure if we're close to that.
I just want to do this for 15 minutes.
D-Dot is one of the original hitmen, and he did the Biggie Life After Death album with me.
If you had someone who is a producer and he made hits, would you not call them a hit maker? Because if you said the word hitman or hitmen, would that not confuse it with the word hitman, in which, you know, remember how everyone said you killed Tupac, and saying words like hitman, he gets the job done? Does that not make you seem like maybe you're in contact with the wrong people? I would have said like he's a producer, but he chose the word hitman. Weird, Diddy. But anyway, he gets this guy called D-Dot, who is now like some sort of producer, and he's gonna help the band create some more songs.
Right here, because I love the fresh talent. You know what I mean?
I'm sure Diddy loves the fresh talent too, sir. After a little while, D-Dot helps them create some music, and Diddy is now here to listen to the band and whatever they come up with.
Welcome to Brooklyn for cheesecake with cheesecake. This is the Bentley style umbrella with the 3Ks.
Did that say walk up to Brooklyn, cheesecake? This dude wrote about the events that Diddy put him through. Walk up to Brooklyn, I feeling like a shit face. P. Diddy make me get a bunch of cheesecake. I hate this day, wish I could pass away, but every single day I'm a bad boy. I wish I was fucking mad boy. Alright, sorry.
I think y'all got some good demos.
Diddy likes the songs, by the way. Then he takes them on a tour bus to Washington, D.C. Why? I don't know. Diddy just does things. But on the tour bus, Fred and Dylon smoke a cigarette in Diddy's room. And Diddy is apparently allergic to smoking. That's crazy. I didn't know that. It seems like a big fucking lie, but Diddy does it.
Me and Dylon, we in Diddy room.
I was smoking.
Why are you guys in Diddy's room, by the way? Let me ask why two men are in Diddy's room smoking a cigarette. Cigarettes, sometimes smoking, is like after you've had great sex, you're like, whew, that was good. That was really good. In Diddy's room? All right, I'm just saying.
Cigarette. So I said, throw me a cigarette. I took the cigarette and put it in my mouth. Hey, yo, this
That's probably not the only thing he put in his mouth. I'm just saying.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm allergic to cigarettes.
I smoked a cigarette in Puffy's room, yeah.
Dylon is really happy that he smoked a cigarette in P. Diddy's room. He might, like, be sticking it to the man. I don't know. But Diddy is really mad. So mad that he catches them and actually throws them off the tour bus, which makes it seem like, you know, it's the end of the world. And at this point, I was like, wow, Diddy is really crazy. But then he puts them on a smoker's bus, which is next to his bus. That's crazy. He has a bus for that? That's wild. I bet you that bus didn't have nobody else on it besides the driver. Why can't you just have one and have a smoker's section? Damn. Finally, the band is getting along and making their songs together. They're in unison and nothing is going wrong. They're actually going to make this album and be the greatest band of all time. But then the band actually goes through writer's block. So they spend one day rolling dice in the studio, just playing around. And then D-Dot comes in and catches them doing that. He also catches Farnsworth Bentley not doing shit, and this is really bad. He sends the news to Puff Daddy, and things don't go well.
Somebody got to step up in the crew. One person.
Stand up and be a...
I like how they pan to Farnsworth Bentley like he's part of the group now. He's like, someone has to actually write the song, Farnsworth. Even the butler is getting the shit handed to him in the series.
Like that, you really not on a lot of records like that.
I got cut out of a lot of records.
Yeah, because your there, you think your is hotter than what it is. Joke, ain't no joke, Cat Daddy.
Oh, shit. All right. So Diddy is angry that people are gambling. There's only 10 days left to make the rest of the songs. And Diddy is like giving them the business. He's once again asserting his dominance and calling a man Cat Daddy is a term I didn't know that was... I thought it was a 2012 term. Apparently, P. Diddy is inventing things way before they actually happen.
But you know what it is? You extra. Playboy, you the definition of extra. You could be extra.
Damn, he's calling him extra. P. Diddy actually saying things from the future. No way people were saying the word extra back then. Next, I'm gonna have P. Diddy saying like, you risen me up, Playboy. Oil me up and then riz me up at the same time. P. Diddy's speech of writer's block inspires Dylon and the group to go to a club because they're like, we're trying to write a club song. We're trying to write a hit, but we don't know anything about the club because we can't even get in. So Dylon is like, we should actually do some field research. So he goes to the club and everyone follows him. They start partying and Diddy in his Ferrari hears about this and is fuming. I don't know what happens that night because Diddy doesn't actually explain and it just cuts to the new episode. But in the next episode, he's sweaty and there's a bigger black man sweaty with him. And that's how it starts. Now I thought I was waking up from a fever dream and apparently they've been working out. But I ask you this question, what type of workout are they doing with no fucking weights?
These cats right now, they on the road to blowing it.
Can we put that down as a thing? They're on the road to blowing it. They're on the way to blowing it. P. Diddy then says things are getting serious, so he might need to come down for a meeting. He's been doing this since the start of the fucking series, but apparently this is the serious one.
Y'all are one group amongst 20 other acts on the label. If y'all was showing your asses the way y'all been showing your asses with each other and everything, you know you'll go down the line.
I don't know what that means, but we'll add this to the Diddy list. If y'all was showing your asses the way you were showing your asses.
I really want to take a nap, look at Scarface 50 times, you know, eat a turkey sandwich and have sex all day. That's what I would love to do.
That's from the Dave Chappelle skit, by the way. If anybody's watched the Chappelle skit, it's so funny. He parodied this line, and I watched that before I watched this. So I thought he was just making it up. But it turns out he's just quoting P. Diddy word for fucking word. P. Diddy is explaining to people how he wants to do some crazy stuff, but he can't do that because he has to work. And now you guys have to work too. He just wants to have sex and eat sandwiches. But what he has to do is work and goad people into having sex and eating sandwiches. Yet again, P. Diddy shuts down the studio 10 days away from the band actually being able to make a record because P. Diddy hates this band apparently. In a note from P. Diddy, their manager tells them they have to cut off friends and family for the next 10 days, which is crazy. The series is sounding like it's kind of like Squid Game. This is like genuinely some crazy shit that's going on here.
He's a monster.
Thanks, Mike.
My thoughts exactly, Dylon. Diddy is a monster, and I think anybody in 2024 can confirm this. At this point, the band needs a manager, even though they already technically have one. I don't know why, because they end up choosing the same person who is their manager. But I just added this scene in because Lou Pearlman, the person who originally founded the Backstreet Boys, is here and wants to be one of their managers. He founded the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and a few other bands, and also embezzled a lot of money, was kind of a big fraud. I watched this documentary, and I found out that one of my favorite bands growing up was a product of embezzlement. Not their fault, but whenever I listen to I Don't Care Who You Are, I'm like, oh shit, they really didn't care.
Bring the kids in.
I don't know, it's been like a few more days later and Diddy now is saying bring the kids in. So he's literally thinks of himself as daddy and his band are now the kids. This is a weird power dynamic. It's also disgusting. I don't really know any more words to describe Diddy's weird antics here, but calling your employees kids and yourself daddy, it's kind of like crossing a line here. And this is like another scene where I think is crazy. They have the band apologizing to Diddy. When Fred says we'll do it any means necessary, Diddy clenches his bottom lip as if to like bite his bottom lip from like moaning in power. So I feel like this is just like, this could be used as evidence at this point.
Talented. I think you're a great addition to Bad Boy. I think we can make some history together.
Then he says everyone can make history and then bites his lip again after saying, cool. Diddy is actually getting off to this at this point, I'm pretty sure. We're now about 8 episodes into a 13-episode series, and the band is actually thinking about what they're gonna call themselves. Now, I didn't think that a band could name themselves after this long. This is the equivalent of a kid having about 2 or 3 years worth of life, and then the parents being like, what should we call this fuckface? I've been calling him that the whole time. I thought they would have named the damn band by now. But they come up with some names, including Six Figures, which is my favorite. That's really funny. I don't know why they aim so low for a band, but Six Figures.
Number 1, 6 figures.
That's us.
Number 2, the band.
Whoa.
Number 3, 5, 2, 1. Which means 5 MCs, 2 girls, and 1 singer.
That sounds more like a KFC order, dude. 5, 2, 1, I'll have a large number 3 and give me a Diet Coke. You should have called your band that. Large McDonald meal. So now they do the royalty splits. And this is the part of the music industry that people don't usually understand. When someone signs a contract, they're the artist, and in very many situations, the artist has no leverage because at the time of signing, they don't have an audience. For instance, in this case, if these guys didn't sign the contract, they would have nothing.
In terms of money, we have no money.
Artists and labels often offer people a really bad contract because it's either that or they have nothing. Nowadays, because of social media and the fact you can cultivate your own audience, it's a bit easier. But with this band, splits are usually about 30-70. So an artist will sign away 70% of their fee and get paid 30. From that 30, they have to pay their manager, taxes, and everyone else on their label. It's not good. But when Phil Robinson breaks down how much they're gonna earn, my mouth dropped.
The record wholesale value is broken down into 100 points, and you would get 3 points of that wholesale value.
Now, I listened to this twice. I thought he said 30 or something like that, 30. But he said 3 points. I believe he said 3 points, meaning they get 3% of what everyone makes.
I have a question for the God. Why?
And from that 3%, they have to pay 10 to everyone else. So if someone is making $100,000 from their song, they're making $3,000. That's a lot for a little, isn't it? Puff Daddy might be one of the worst people. Ness feels like Fred is messing up the money, and they stop fighting with each other because of this.
I'm finna risk my outside, homie. I'm right here. Oh.
Fred flashes his nipples towards Ness, and then they start doing gay things.
What's up? What's up?
I know you may think, oh, Leo, that's crazy. Why would you say something like that? That's very un-PC. I'm telling you, this guy took off his shirt, flashed him. Next thing you know, these two are wrestling. One dude's pants is off. You tell me what that is. His pants is out, and you can clearly see Fred with the left hand grabbing his underwear. If Diddy was here, he would be salivating from the mouth. There'd be a pool. Choking someone out while their pants is down, and it's not followed by a yes daddy, is probably the weirdest thing that I've ever seen.
You got white people nervous. Please, man, we can't make white people nervous. When we make white people nervous, they invent laws.
Farnsworth pulls aside Ness and says, please don't make white people nervous by fighting in the hood or in this hood, because they're going to invent laws that prevent us from doing things. And he's kind of right. Farnsworth is always right. Listen to him. The next day, the boys are finally okay because they fought. Psych. They're not actually okay because they stop fighting again while the other person is recording. And this time people are like, just fight it out. Let's see what happens. They have a little fight. It looks like they're hugging and they haven't seen each other. It looks like that scene in Brokeback Mountain when both the boys haven't seen each other for a while. And then one of them grabs the other one and like pushes him against the wall. He's like, Jack fucking twist. And then he starts kissing him because he misses him so much.
Ain't nothing gay about it.
Someone says that's gay dog, and then Ness takes his shirt off and says, there's nothing gay about these titties. Diddy then comes, he's summoned to the house because he heard 2 men are fighting and one is shirtless. Babs says something telling where she's like, I don't want to see this guy, which is not what you want to hear from your label manager, like, not you again. And then P. Diddy says something even more telling, but I'll let you hear this.
Keep the cameras rolling, even though you think he getting choked out, he gonna stop breathing. We got all types of new technology to revive people these days. Keep the cameras rolling.
Yo.
That shows how much of a sociopath he is. Putting someone's health second to like the cameras and the ratings is some next level greed that you don't find in normal everyday people, because that shows a lack of humility and humanity as well. Saying something like that is crazy to even think about. Ness is pretty sad, so Diddy gets his barber to give Ness a haircut, which is you know, funny because Ness doesn't have hair.
Look at the top of his head.
So the barber then has to start talking about things and pretend to cut his hair. This dude literally turned on the hair clippers to talk. He's like, all right, this guy has no hair. Action. Man, people always tell me, they tell me lots of things. They tell me to go here and there and everywhere else. And you're done, sir. I trimmed that hair for you. This dude was so good at his job, he even pretended to shake the hair that didn't exist off the fucking cloth. That's amazing. Realistically, he could have sat down in the chair and clipped his hair like this. Zzz. He could have done it like Mr. fucking Bean.
I think we all need the box. So that should be done. Right, men?
Diddy is then inclined to say maybe the craziest stuff he said the whole show. He says that we need a box. And then he looks at Chopper, sees how tall he is, and then says, and I quote, "You would eat my ass up."
You should be able to eat my ass up. You should be able to eat my ass up.
You should be able to eat my ass up. Have you ever... I watch boxing. I watch a lot of boxing. I've never once heard any of the boxers, even with brain damage, say, "You're gonna eat my ass up."
Yeah, you better win your fight, because I'm coming on your ass, boy. I'm coming for that ass.
And I've heard Mike Tyson talk, and he says some crazy stuff, but he never has ever said, "I'm gonna get someone to eat my asshole."
Eat my ass. You should be able to eat me up. Okay.
Eat me up? Diddy? How many are we up to? Can we add 2 to the counter, please?
Diddy told us we had to come up with 100 names for the group.
6 figures.
So Diddy has given them a task to come up with a band name. They come up with names like Legend, 6 Figures, Best of the Best, which they should have just come up with like Now 40 or something. Diddy's like, "Since you guys don't have a name, I'm gonna call you the Delinquents," which makes Babs want to cry, and she hates the name. And Diddy, upon realizing that, says like, well, you know, it is what it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But he's just doing that to neg her, because really, he's calling them Da Band, which is a stupid fucking name.
Nah, I decided to call you on the band.
Yeah, so he calls them Da Band. They're really happy. It's a stupid name because none of them play instruments. It's like calling a group Da Singers, and it's like only rappers. Why?
This is Daddy's house, the home of the hits.
Next, we have Diddy saying, "This is Daddy's house," and showing that one studio is for Biggie Smalls where they record music, and the other studio is for Diddy's room where they record illegal activity, which could be used in court.
Because he used to always work in here. Over there, you got the Diddy room.
Just the words, the Diddy room, sounds like it's the dirtiest shit on earth. Like, the Diddy room gives R. Kelly's room a run for his money. And I never thought I'd say that. R. Kelly, I thought, was going to be the person to beat. And he truly was. He pissed on people, and he pissed off people. But Diddy was like, "I got baby oil and lotion. I make you seem like you're a saint." I kept a scene in of Diddy pretending to work on the boards because it reminded me of DJ Khaled whenever he pretends to do things. It's funny. That's not how you use mixing boards. But anyway, I guess Diddy thinks he's doing something. Next scene is Sarah crying, and I found that funny. I don't find people crying funny, but the instant reaction to her crying is fucking hilarious. Sarah is missing home. She's missing her husband, her kids, and everything else. And she wants to get her dream, but at the same time, being around Diddy and the group and not actually doing anything or making lateral progress is making her feel really bad.
I don't think that there's nothing you gonna get out of life that you really want that ain't gonna be a level of pain involved, you know what I'm saying?
It's gonna get worse.
Diddy's actually seems more or less okay with the girls. He doesn't seem to be, like, besides the few random shit he says at them, he seems to be okay with them, which is weird because with the guys, he's like, "You can eat my ass up." He says some crazy shit towards the guys, which I didn't really realize when I saw this.
But it's also gonna get better than you could like ever imagine, you know what I'm saying? We definitely here for you, I'm here for you. You've heard it.
So he tells Sarah, he gives her some good advice saying like it might get better before it gets worse, but this is your dream. Then he hugs her and moves on. Then he meets up with Chopper and says, "Look, don't be too egotistical. You're gonna turn me off." He literally says that'll turn him off.
I love a confident swagger. I love a little bit of cockiness. I don't like a lot of it. Too much of it, it's gonna turn me off.
That's crazy for a guy to say. That's crazy for your boss to say, "You got too much swag. You're turning me off. Turn me on, son. Son, I want you to turn me on. I want you to be like Guy Jennifer Lopez." Weird to say that to a 19-year-old kid. But anyway, Diddy, that's what you're doing. That's a scene of Diddy holding 2 dicks and stroking it. It's now one of the final days. They're actually meeting up with Bad Boy Records to perform their song and meet the whole team. Diddy's introducing them. Yeah, so they meet the band. Everyone's happy. They're doing a sex song with 5 verses and a reggae dude, which is hilarious. And then their manager tells them they're not going to get the checks this week, next week. And everyone is up in arms and don't understand that sometimes it takes an extra week.
We got some papers for advance money, so we got to sign them in order to get our advance money.
But now they're signing in advance, which is a whole different concept. concept. I'll try and break it down very fast. An advance in music, a sum of money that is given to you all at once. When you make an album, you have to recoup the cost before you actually get a profit. So if someone gives you $1 million, they give you that money as basically a loan. You do have that all at once, which is why it's called an advance. But if you make an album, your album has to sell $1 million worth of stuff before you actually can get paid. And if you don't, you owe that money to the people you signed it to. So it's not really your money yet. But anyway, they signed the thing and they're really happy, except that Sarah wants to read the fine print. It's only now occurring to her that she might as well start reading the terms and conditions since they're so long. Farnsworth Bentley starts standing up to Sarah for defending her decision to talk it out with her husband, be pretty wary of the contract, and we're like now faced with this thing where it's like, is Sarah actually going to teach everyone some financial literacy? But then 5 minutes later, she signs the contract due to pressure. At this point, Fred says once the album's done, they'll get like 8K, which is like, you know, nowadays it's like, bruh, for an album as a musician, that's wild. And he's so happy about it. And like, it seems like something that's easy to laugh at, but what it really shows is how little like people know about financial literacy in positions like that, and how easy it is to put people in bad positions and take advantage of them because they're not really able to figure out that situation on their own. I find it really sad. I don't think it's pretty cool. And I don't know, that moment just made me sad. They were so happy about a small amount of money when they didn't realize just how much they'd probably be making the label.
Coolest jeweler you've seen in a while, man.
Of course, they go straight to the jewelers. It's not really too cool, but they go to Jacob the jeweler and he shows them what they could be getting when they make more money, which is like an endless cycle. People start stunting because they want to feel validated because they've never had that before. And the only way to do that is by making more stuff, and they keep getting disrespected because that stuff is not netting them enough money. They go to Jacob the jeweler. One piece costs $50K, and my favorite moment occurs where Farnsworth is like, no, come on, you gotta write way too many verses for that, showing that he actually looks out for these people. And I just think he's a cool ass dude. So shout out Farnsworth wherever you are.
One day you're gonna come here and pick from this bottle. Yo.
And then Jacob the jeweler is like, one day when you're an actual rapper, you can pick from the actual rapper box. But for now, you get the shitty chain. And then they take their shitty chains and they go. I'm sorry to give you. It's at this point where they realize that they're not going to get their money right away. They go to Bad Boy Records and they're like, where's the money? Bad Boy Records is like, look, bro, it's going to be a week. Just chill out. You can't possibly need it that badly. And that's the end of the conversation. They record their final track, and the next time we see them, they've been introduced to the public and people love them. They're signing autographs and they're doing radio interviews. But Fred has gone back to Miami because he doesn't really want the fame.
To get these checks, and then you have another one coming like as soon as we finish the album.
Yeah. Woo! Jackpot.
Right now.
The thing that people don't realize is sometimes you get like 50K, right, in music, and you're like, whoa, I've never seen that much money at once. That may be true. But let's say you don't get another check for like a year and a half. Now it's like if I worked a regular job, I would have got paid the same, just not in the same amount of time. So you have to sometimes think about it. You also have to pay your manager and everyone else. Sometimes it just works out better to take that other job. It is a very tough job being in the entertainment industry. Let me tell you that. It is crazy.
I gotta tell you, when you come in, dog, oh my God.
Crazy. It's crazy, right?
I thought I was listening to God rapping.
What's the name of the band again?
D-A-B-A-N-D.
So they do a radio interview. Fred is not there. And finally, people are like, what's the name of the band? They're like, D-A-B-A-N-D. Da Band. It's a really stupid name. Come on, that's a stupid name.
Are you playing with me right now? Because I don't even play like this. What are you talking about?
No, I don't play.
So yeah, Fred is in peril. He's like, man, I don't want the fame. And P. Diddy puts it into perspective, saying if fame is the worst thing that you have to deal with in order to get your family from point A to point B, it's not so bad. And while I feel like that's 50% manipulation because it's specifically coming from Diddy, in any other context, that would be putting things into perspective and being pretty good. 50-50 on this one. So at this point, P. Diddy is like reminiscing because they do their final like press run, and he's talking about like how he met everyone, and they all come from these weird circumstances, and he goes through them.
Yo went from being online with 5,000 people, begging, wishing for a chance to be heard. Now y'all in Daddy's house, same place Biggie rapped and performed. Greatest.
Now you're all in Daddy's house. Put that in. Put that on the counter, please. That's crazy. Now you're all in Daddy's house. Ugh. I don't want to be signed to Daddy Records. Get out of here. He tells Sarah that he also wants to jump off a building when he doesn't get things correctly, which is not something you should be telling people, but hey, Diddy's that kind of boss. So he recollects everything and then shows them the CD, the album cover that they're doing. They didn't even get to choose the album cover, and then they're all really happy, and then they all lunge towards the camera, and that's how it ends. Diddy then bites his lip, and that's the way that we remember Diddy, and he says, this is only the beginning. But unfortunately, it was actually the end for the band, because even though they sold 500,000 copies in the US, they broke up. And what happened to them? Jack shit. They all went their separate ways and never got back. Nobody even says why. I looked on the internet to see what happened. Unfortunately, one of them's in serious trouble. The others are not really doing much to do with music or pursuing it independently, but nobody's signed to Bad Boy anymore. So just like most people who are signed to shows like American Idol, Diddy just used them to be part of a show and get money from that. What a crazy concept. Now, I do want to say that, like, at the end of this, I looked up the band. I thought they were going to be together. I thought things were going to hopefully be okay. Because Diddy signed some good people in his time. He also signed some bad people. And I didn't really know where this stood. But now that I do, I feel pretty bad. However, there is a caveat. If you like this video, tell me. Because there is a season 3 of Making the Band. And it does explore on the same people, even though they're not on the band. And I'd like to see what happened to them. So if that's something you want to see, let me know. Because if you really need me to, I'll dive back into the Diddy files. And I guess I'll look at the Diddler one more time. But that was a deep dive on Making the Band. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from that. I feel like there's a lot of psychological stuff that Diddy does that I can now see. And when I watch the next season or something else, I could see that he's doing this or his intent is that. And it's very telling. So I was kind of interested in this. At first, it started off as more of a meme. But now that I watch it, I feel like there is really something to learn from this. And I hope you've like got something from this. But yeah, let me know if you want to see the next one. And that was the deep dive on Making the Band. Thank you so much from the Netherlands. I hope to see you very soon. Bye bye. So if you want to upgrade your scent game, click the link. Use my code 16leo55 for 55% off your first month. That's just $8 to smell like a legend.